So thank you for the invitation. Apologies I couldn't be there in person, but it's an honor to be able to present on behalf of the U.S. Department of Energy, where I am the director for the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Technologies Office and also the coordinator for hydrogen activities across DOE. And so today I have three main messages. And first, our national goals and the sense of urgency in terms of climate crisis and energy security, resiliency, obviously the war in Europe, the economic situation. And if you look at energy consumption in the US, for the first time in history, renewables have surpassed coal at 13%. And you can see the diverse options here, but we still rely very heavily on fossil fuels. So we need to look at the entire portfolio. And we have very ambitious goals. The administration has net zero emissions by 2050 and very ambitious interim goals, as you can see here, including a clean grid by 2035. Another priority I'd like to emphasize is energy and environmental justice. For instance, our Justice 40 initiative, where 40% of specific federal investments would benefit disadvantaged communities, so those who've historically experienced injustice. And this is important for all of us as we think about the energy transition to address environmental and economic equity issues right from the beginning. So hydrogen is one part of a very comprehensive portfolio. And if you look at why hydrogen, why so much interest recently, we see low-cost renewables. So the cost of hydrogen falling to less than $5 per kilogram. Clean hydrogen is seen as needed to meet the climate goals in many countries. So it offers versatility, as shown here in the quote, Swiss Army knife view of hydrogen with our H2S scale image, the fact that you can produce it from diverse domestic resources, you can store it, you can use it either as a fuel or as a feedstock. It gives you that greater optionality or flexibility for heavy duty transportation, especially those hard to decarbonize sectors. Industrial steel alone accounts for 7-8% of global emissions. So it really gives you that optionality, and import-export opportunities are of interest. So we're seeing gigawatt scale projects being announced, billions announced by industry and governments, and many studies looking at the potential of 10 to over 20% of total emissions reduction possible with the scale up of hydrogen. So where are we in the US? We produce about 10 million metric tons today, mostly from natural gas. That's about 10% of the global capacity, mostly for refining and ammonia production. We have over 1,600 miles of dedicated pipeline, 3 geological caverns, including the world's largest in Texas. And you can see most of the regions in the US have hydrogen production capacity. We're showing here in the green for the first time PEM electrolysis. So a threefold increase in just 1 year, over 600 megawatts, but still a very nascent industry. You can see examples of deployments here, thousands of fuel cells. These are commercially available. One niche example, for instance, in the US was the forklift market with over 50,000 now major companies like Amazon, Walmart, using zero emissions forklifts in their warehouses. In fact, every few seconds, some customers refueling with hydrogen. So again, exciting time for the industry, but there's still significant challenges. And if you look at some of those challenges based on stakeholder feedback, you see cost is one of the biggest challenges. And that's my second main message today is cost. We have to reduce cost. We also need infrastructure, public awareness and understanding is a challenge, advancement, safety concern, again, multiple challenges really to enable the widespread adoption of hydrogen. So we launched the Hydrogen Energy Earth Shot, or Hydrogen Shot, which is a bold, ambitious target similar to the moonshot from over half a century ago, of $1 for 1 kilogram of clean hydrogen in 1 decade. And so we're looking at multiple options, electrolysis, thermal conversion, other advanced pathways, just direct photoelectrochemical conversion. And this will enable, again, multiple end uses and unlock the market potential. Because today in the US, hydrogen from natural gas is only about $1.50. So we need to get the cost down to enable that impact. So a very exciting time. We had legislation passed in the US, which includes $9.5 billion for clean hydrogen, $1 billion for electrolysis, 500 million for clean hydrogen manufacturing and recycling, and 8 billion for at least 4 regional hubs. So we just announced this funding opportunity announcement, and also very significant tax credits, and requires developing a national hydrogen strategy and a roadmap, which we just announced as a draft for public comment. And it has 3 major pillars. First, use hydrogen, target those strategic high impact end uses, so those hard to decarbonize sectors, reduce the cost of clean hydrogen, and focus on regional networks. So this is where the hubs concept comes in. As much as possible, co-locating large-scale production and end use and off-takers to enable that infrastructure at scale, enabling activities such as workforce development, safety codes and standards, stimulating private sector investments, and for the first time we publish, based on demand scenarios, what the opportunity is for the US. So 10 million metric tons by 2030 and up to 50 by 2050. And here you can see examples of the multiple end uses, again, not just how much we can produce, but market-driven demand. And you can see additional demands here, opportunities, for instance, quite a bit of uncertainty, potentially exports, but you can see trucks, heavy-duty trucks or transportation, as well as energy storage, industrial applications like steel and ammonia, synthetic fuels. So again, a lot of opportunities here with the national strategy, and we have a comprehensive program in place that covers research and development, a number of consortia leveraging our national laboratory complex, technology integration validation, so many first-of-a-kind demonstrations to de-risk the technology before we get to scale. We have 5 nuclear projects, multiple renewables, the first data center with Microsoft, fueling with an electrolyzer on a floating barge for a passenger ferry on hydrogen. We have 15 trucks operating in a disadvantaged community, steel projects, again, many examples of first-of-kind projects, and then finally deployment and financing. So in addition to the hubs, which I mentioned, we also have recently from our loan guarantee office 2 loan financing projects for pyrolysis and large-scale electrolysis, and then finally enabling activities. So workforce development, a center for hydrogen safety, which anyone can join here. So providing resources, training, accreditation, high blends, H2 matchmaker to look at matching producers and off-takers. So tremendous opportunity. So first, our national goals, second, cost, and finally, my third and last message for today is the importance of collaboration. Again, a big thank you to the organizers for this event. I especially want to emphasize the administration's priorities for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I've used this many times, but I know there are many experts out there, and I wish I could be there in person, but we all know that no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, no one person can whistle a symphony. It really takes the whole orchestra. So now more than ever, we need investors, governments, industry, academia, labs, the disadvantaged communities, really all hands on deck, and the global community to get hydrogen and clean energy technologies to succeed and to get them across the finish line, accelerating progress. So we have tremendous opportunities for engagement and resources available. Increase your H2 IQ, H2 tools. We have in the US, in the honor of the atomic weight of hydrogen, 10/8 designated National Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day, really to spread the word. Again, public awareness and acceptance is one of the challenges. So thank you once again for organizing this important event, and I wish you an excellent rest of the conference.